Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to make another 3D build. I'm sorry about that. But I designed this little beauty box here on my 3D printer, and then I have decorated it with leather, and I actually think it came out really cute. So if you don't have a 3D printer, I'm really sorry about that. You can make it with polymer clay instead if you want to, but I'm not showing you how to do that here. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's what we're gonna make today. So let's dive into it and see how to do this. So I am back to voiceover because that is easier. I designed this little beauty box in 3 pieces, so that you have the little tray that go into the bottom piece. Then you have the top piece that has kind of a notch that goes into the tray. This way it will close together when we have the leather around it. You find the link for the 3D parts in the info box below. I made this template for the leather to go around the little box. I will show you here in a second. The little part that I'm cutting out right here is just taking the box, placing it on the paper and drawing around it, but you kind of don't need it, so it's not within the template. I took a piece of paper and I measured out 7 centimeters in the length, and it is 1.5 centimeters tall. Then from 1.5 centimeters and out to the side I have a cut, and that cut is starting 1.1 centimeters from the bottom part. You see all the measurements here, so that's what you need to do this little wrap around for the little beauty box. I have a piece of very thin leather here, and I am drawing out the measurements or the template here on it and cutting out the strips of the leather. And I am using my template on top of this piece, and then I am cutting this little strip here. This way I'm sure that I have it exactly where I want it. I did not show you this, but I glued the top lid here and the bottom part of the beauty box onto the back side of the leather, and now I'm just cutting out the parts. I used my tacky glue to cut it out, and I thought that this little piece here could be used for the hinges for the handle, so I'm just using that and making 2 small strips. They are like a few millimeters wide and a centimeter long, but you can cut them out of another piece of the leather if you want to, or maybe even in another color. So I just saved that little piece because this leather is actually quite expensive. I got it on one of those sales exhibitions for miniature that I went to last year, and I just had to have this leather. Then again, I am using my tacky glue. I have it in a smaller bottle here, but it is tacky glue, and I'm gluing on top of the leather on the part that we're connecting the 2 pieces. Then I'm placing the lid so I have that little jibber on the front and gluing the leather to the back side. And now I just glue these 2 pieces around the bottom of the little beauty box and around the top of the little beauty box. And of course I had to do the most of this off camera. I'm really sorry about that. I need to watch that more carefully, but I glue a piece of it and then I place it around the bottom of this little beauty box, glue a little more here, and then place it around the rest of the bottom. And I do the same with the lid that you then didn't see, and it's overlaying a tiny bit my pattern, but I'm happy about that. And now the place where you did not cut the leather apart is the hinge for the little beauty box. So I'm just showing you here. So the lid is now stuck on there, and when the little part for rings or whatever piece here is in there. You see it has the little notch where this little piece go into, and it keeps on very nicely because of the leather. I am going to make the handle with these small things here that I have for nail art. It's kind of a little ring here, and I'm placing the strip from before through that little ring, placing a tiny bit of glue on the end of the leather here, and then bending it over and around the ring. I'm trying to show you on camera here, just bending it over and around like that, and make it glue together. And I'm doing the same on the other one that I did here. You don't have to do it like this. You could also just take a strip of the leather and glue it on one side of the top to the other side of the top if you want to, but I wanted to make it a little more interesting. So while that is drying, I am taking this little decoration, again a nail art decoration, and I am going to glue that here at the bottom part of the opening. That is just a tiny decoration that I wanted to put on there to make it more interesting to look at. Again, you don't need this, but you can, if you have a little rhinestone or something else, a little nail art decoration, just glue it right there, and the tacky glue is gluing really nicely to the leather, so don't worry. I cut a strip of leather that is around 3 millimeters wide, and now I am taking one end of that strap, making sure I place it the right way through the little loop here, and again I'm using my tacky glue and gluing the back side to the back side so that you have the nice side outwards. And I am deciding for the length of my little handle, and then I will cut it into the length I want, so that I have, I'm gonna go double here like that, and then I'm gonna glue on the other little hoop here on the other side, again making sure I have the good side out and the inside on the inside, and then I'm gluing this together and gluing it down. Just like that. This leather is so thin that it kind of made a bend in the middle here where the two pieces of leather are connected. I wanted it to kind of give a little archy shape, but it has this kind of triangular shape with that. So I cut out another tiny piece of leather and glued that on the onto the underside of the handle to make it a little more sturdy, and that was working pretty fine. Then I cut the two end pieces in the length I wanted them. I do not show that here, but these two pieces here. And then it is all about gluing it onto the lid of the little beauty box. So again, using my tacky glue, putting a tiny bit of glue on the hinge and making sure I glue the handle on the top side of the beauty box. I almost glued it on the bottom, just like that. Leave it to dry for a few seconds, and then I glue the other end on the other side of the beauty box. And then I of course let that dry until the glue was all hardened here. And that is all there is for this little beauty box. You can fill it with small things if you want to. I decided to just leave it like this for now. I might come back to it one day and fill it up with small details, but for now I just wanted to show you this little beauty box. I actually think it turned out really neat. So you can make it in one color or two colored, or you can make it three colored, but the most important thing here is the little piece of leather that is going around the box, because that is also creating the little hinge. So even if you don't have the 3D printer to do this with, maybe you can use the idea for making a hinge like this for some other project you have lying around. So I hope it gave you a bit of ideas anyway. So I'm just happy you watched this one. Thank you for watching and happy crafting.